So a little bit about BrainSell and who we are. BrainSell was founded in Massachusetts in Topsfield in 1994. So we are an end-to-end business software, CRM, ERP, and marketing automation VAR. We work a lot with various companies throughout the United States and across North America, delivering kind of a best-of-breed approach rather than a single, this is the solution that you have to go with. We take a software agnostic approach and say what works best for your business. And so today I'm going to be presenting on Microsoft Dynamics 365 and its strengths and where it fits for a lot of different businesses. So without further ado, we'll step right into what's new in Microsoft Dynamics 365. So on today's agenda, I'm going to be covering the unified interface, which in version 9.0, Microsoft released an all-new UI experience, but also gave some new features along with that. They decoupled the UI from the system configuration, meaning that now, rather than having to configure multiple screens, you're actually able to configure one screen, and regardless of what platform you're on, you're viewing the exact same information. And you'll see that a little bit here in just a few minutes. Whether you're on the tablet version, the mobile version, the Outlook client, the desktop version, or the mobile app, all of your CRM UI will stay exactly the same, which for a lot of people and for a lot of sales reps, that gets really annoying to go from the desktop where you have one, maybe it's an amazing experience, to a mobile platform, which is not so much. So Microsoft really came up with the idea of creating one single unified interface across everything, just so that everyone would have that same user adoption. There would be that same level of consistency. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what Microsoft has built into Dynamics 365 in version 9.0, specifically around the sales AI capabilities, as well as some of the relationship analytics, which a lot of companies are really starting to want to harness and learn more about. What can AI do for my sales team, and what can relationship analytics teach me about my deals and where we're falling out of the pipeline? And then a little bit into LinkedIn Sales Navigator and how it integrates directly with Microsoft Dynamics 365. So when Microsoft bought LinkedIn a couple years ago, they said, this is where we're going. And I'm going to show you that today, that joint integration between having a CRM system that has the power to harness LinkedIn. And then lastly, we're going to cover in the Dynamics 365 section, we're going to cover Outlook as a CRM. Now, I know from my years of experience in sales, getting salespeople to use a CRM can be pulling teeth at times. So when I learned that you can use your CRM inside of Outlook and never leave Outlook, that has revolutionized how salespeople think about their CRM, because 90% of them use Outlook on a daily basis. And if they can stay there, and as management, we can get better sales analytics and reporting without ever having to force them into a system that, could be complex or cumbersome, or maybe some salespeople just don't like to use a CRM. But if I can get them using their email, which they're already doing, and getting them to just track emails, the CRM handles itself inside of Outlook. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then I'm going to show a little bit of what Microsoft is working on the social engagement side, as well as talk about Power BI and how the joint integration with Common Data Service and Microsoft allows a greater throughput of data understanding. And then what's coming in this fall release. So Microsoft does 2 releases a year, one in October and then one in around March, April. And they're 2 pretty big releases. So they're on a very rapid cadence of release cycles. So I'm going to talk about what's coming up next. So right now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Microsoft 365 platform as a whole, I just kind of want to cover a little bit of what that is. So we can see here that Microsoft is broken out into 3 core pieces. Office 365, which encompasses all of the business application suite. Microsoft Dynamics 365, which covers business applications such as sales, which we'll cover today, customer service, operations and finance, marketing, field service, which is technical functions for field reps, and then project service automation, which is project management and project accounting, as well as a new product that they've launched, Business Central, which is the next step up for companies and organizations looking to go beyond what QuickBooks is capable of doing and move into a streamlined yet robust ERP system, as well as Talent, which is talent acquisition, joint coupled with LinkedIn marketing, LinkedIn talent acquisition, as well as marketing, retail, and sales AI. So that's the core piece of Microsoft Dynamics 365. And the great thing about it is Microsoft has built it to be Legos. So we all understand that we may have one business platform and we may have one business system, but it may not do everything. Microsoft has built a way to say, I want just sales, or I want sales and customer service, or maybe I want project automation and I want finance and operations. You're able to mix and match, and even with licensing, you're able to mix and match and buy exactly what your organization needs to be successful. And then on the intelligence side, we have Power BI, Cortana Intelligence Suite, and Azure IoT. So harnessing common data, core data, and intelligence, as well as harnessing IoT capabilities, and then packaging all that in Power BI gives you an intelligence suite that is unmatched by anybody else. And then above and below that, we have AppSource, which is the third-party platform that you're able to go out and get applications that directly connect with Dynamics 365, such as Adobe Marketing, such as DocuSign, things like that. And then on Common Application Platform, we have Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, and Common Data. So they sit below everything as the data warehouse and the tools to manage and work all of the pieces together. So what are we going to cover today inside of sales? Well, particularly, I want to focus on talking about what Dynamics 365 is capable in terms of actionable insights. We all understand that CRMs are important because it gives management the ability to see and understand where we are with our deals, but Microsoft has taken it a step further. They allow you to see in real time, and I'll show you this in just a few minutes, how to build a quality pipeline using predictive intelligence, understanding where your relationships are. It's important in today's B2B models that we understand that it's shifted. The B2B model of the early 2000s is not the B2B model of today. It's that person-to-person relationship. B2B has really become B2CB, if you will. So, because really it all starts at the consumer level. And when we say business consumer, that BC model, you've got to reach out and engage with people at that organization. And so how does my relationship with not only the organization, but the people there affect my ability to close new deals? Is there something at risk? Is there a potential case that's outstanding that's going to put my next deal at risk? This is what Microsoft harnesses with Common Data Service. It's looking at not just your prior actions with that customer, but it's also looking at all the different data points, their financial health within your organization from finance and operations. Maybe they have cases in customer service that's outstanding that could affect your deals. So where Microsoft works best is as one cohesive whole unit. And then product recommendations. How many times has a sales rep either missed the opportunity to close more sales or been just before the threshold of meeting a sales goal? Well, with Microsoft Dynamics 365, the intelligence built into the back end that gives you the ability to see and say, hey, these are what your existing customers are buying as upgrades and cross-sells. Maybe you should recommend this to this customer as well as some intelligence features. There's also personal engagement. With Microsoft Dynamics 365 version 9, which is what we're on currently, they've built a massive amount of infrastructure around email intelligence. 90% of business communication happens through email. So now you're able to track emails directly within the CRM and see interactions such as opens, reads, downloads. How many times have they opened my email? When did they open my email? How much have they read of my email? Things like that. You're able to, this is out of the box functionality that Microsoft has invested in developing so that you have straight out of the box intelligence. And then social selling. Social selling has become such an important part of the selling process in general. If you're not reaching out to customers on cross-channel, you're doing yourself a disservice. Microsoft has built a way to generate leads and track dynamically with inside of Dynamics 365. And I'll show you a little bit of what social selling and relationship insights looks like in the demo section. And then Relationship Assistant. Relationship Assistant is by far my favorite feature of Dynamics. I've used Dynamics on multiple occasions. It's my CRM. I love it. But one of the most important features that I've got to see and use is Relationship Assistant. It looks at all of my interactions from the last 100 deals that I won and the last 100 deals that I lost, guys, is it determines a score and an understanding of what it took to get that deal to a win stage or to a lose stage. And then it gives me a trending line of where my relationship's at, and it shows me whether I need to reach out and contact them again, or maybe I'm under my email threshold. So maybe it takes 10 emails for me to close a deal. Microsoft is then going to take that data and recommend things to me. You need to schedule another meeting with this client. You need to reach out and send another email, maybe a phone call. Relationship Assistant is taking the burden of task management off of the sales rep and automating it at a whole new level. And then content collaboration, having the ability to keep all of your data in one centralized repository for your sales reps is critical. How many times have we been on the phone with a customer where we're about to close a deal and we've said, oh, where is that pitch deck? Where is that information that I needed? Having sales literature built inside of Dynamics that's one click away is critical, especially for those of us in high volume sales, or maybe those of us who like to proactively approach customers. I don't like to hunt through massive Dropbox databases and SharePoint libraries to try to find my sales material. Having the ability to find it directly inside of Dynamics when I need it and push it out is absolutely critical. So why, you may be asking, Dynamics 365 for sales? Why this over another platform? Well, it's purpose-built. Microsoft has had the understanding of the business world, and they understand exactly what we need. And they've been doing it since the 80s. So they've figured out how to build a CRM that people want and people need. It's productive. You've already got the familiar tools that you're used to using from Excel and PowerPoint that we've all been using since computers came about. So you've got that simplicity. Built-in intelligence. Salesforce is just now getting around to launching Einstein. Microsoft has had some of these features since version 2011. So it's there, it's tried, it's true, and it's tested. And then it's adaptable. The great thing about Microsoft Dynamics 365 is it's not a tool that you have to conform to. So many times I sit down with customers and they tell me, I hate my current CRM because I feel like I have to mold my business around it. Dynamics isn't like that. Dynamics molds around your business. And very simply, it doesn't require a lot of customization and development to get it to do it. A couple hours with a business analyst and a few minutes of training them how to use it, they can be up and running, changing forms, creating reports and dashboards. So it saves overall the cost of maintenance, the cost of upgrades, and the cost of development because it is so adaptable. So Microsoft Dynamics 365, we'll kind of walk through this a little bit, but for the sake of time, I'll kind of highlight pieces of it, but not go too far in depth. Actionable insights from the seller's perspective to that personal engagement, customer management from customer to sales manager side, as well as sales performance. There is a consistent flow through the entire process from start to finish that sets Dynamics apart from other platforms. So what's new specifically? Relationship Insights is a brand new tool that launched in version 9. So it's about a year and a half old right now. They have gathered massive amounts of data that now tell us what our relationship scores are, determining the health, determining the interactions we need to have. Partner Hub also helps you to manage partner lifecycle. So if you're an organization or a business that uses partner relationships, this is a great tool now that you can manage deal management, field and project level service, document management. You see the visibility from start to finish, which is at the end of the day, what we all look for in a platform. I want to be able to take one look at a report, at a tool, and see everything I need to know from a management level where forecast is for sales, from a sales rep level of what I need to do, what's my next step on this deal to get this deal closed. Unified business processes are now very simple. They've taken the entire business process model and rebuilt it from the ground up. So now you have a very easy drag and drop process manager to go in and build out, how does this deal progress? What's my sales cycle like? How do I move the deal forward? This is something that anyone can sit down with security levels, obviously. Anyone can sit down and build out their sales process and then walk their deals through it. with certain triggers, steps, automation, and so forth. And then gamification. We all know what a struggle it can be sometimes for user adoption. Microsoft has done a great job changing this. What they've done is they've introduced what's called gamification, which allows you to create teams and groups inside of your CRM, and then use that to create points based off of their usage schedule, based off of how they're interacting with their customers in CRM. So imagine you have two sales teams, and now they're competing head-to-head against each other on who can close the most deals, who's sending the most emails, who's hitting their internal targets, and you can make a game out of using the CRM. So they're constantly interacting with it and using it so that they have the ability to see exactly what they need to see, and it gets them in the system and accustomed to using it. So user adoption, from my understanding and what I've seen, goes up about 60 to 70% just by introducing gamification, because it makes it fun. I know a lot of organizations that tie bonuses and spiffs specifically to gamification. So what's relationship insights? I know I keep talking about it, but I really want to drill down into what is it further. Relationships analytics gives you the ability to see those critical pieces of the health of your deal. And I'll show you that in just a minute. But again, it's looking at those deals and it's saying, what interactions did you complete with this customer to be able to get this deal closed? You can see that in the screenshot. Also, email engagement. Again, the ability to track and manage emails directly from the CRM, getting usage statistics out of it, whether they opened your email, whether they closed your email, whether they read it, without having to request read receipts. I don't know about you guys, but for me, anytime somebody requests a read receipt, I always decline it. I'm like, I'm busy. You don't need to know if I read your email or not. But this is a smart way of sending an email and being able to track when it's read. Because if you're constantly sending emails and you never know if they're getting read, you don't know if you're being seen. So having this feature in a non-marketing level presence is important. Using automation tools that help us to see things like open click-through rates on mass email marketing campaigns. But now imagine delivering those same analytics to your sales reps and having them have the ability to see when their sales emails are getting opened, or maybe that important pitch deck that they sent to a client got opened and downloaded 3 times, or maybe it got forwarded up to a decision maker. That's important information to see. And then relationship insights, relationship assistant, triggering notifications based off of AI. So relationship assistant, I had one pop up the other day, and I had an email where something had happened and the customer was a little upset. So when he emailed me back, relationship assistant pushed a notification to me and said, the deal could be at risk because the customer's upset. So I quickly read through the email and saw there was a problem that I needed to hop on immediately. That was a fire that started that I was able to put out before it became an inferno. Having data that's actionable immediately is critical in the business world today. And having an automated system looking at your data and saying, you might want to do this, or you should change this, or this is something. It also triggers for a lot of things. If a new case is open, maybe the case is running long and it pushes a notification and says, there's an outstanding case with this customer. Maybe you want to hold off on pitching some new product. Giving you the insight to manage that relationship is important. And then auto capture. Auto capture automatically tracks emails based off of preset parameters for whether you're tracking a folder or tracking an object, but it gives you the ability to have all that data aggregated outside of the CRM before it even comes in. Meaning you don't have to set up and track every single email. You can set up a folder, say, these are my customers. I want all of these emails tracked. And then it's constantly capturing that data. So what's new in Insight? So InsideView is now a part of Microsoft. It is a free product offered by Microsoft and paid for by them, but it gives you the ability to see some really interesting data about accounts and contacts. So having the ability to see financial data, for example, how big is the organization, the account we're going after, what's their phone number, address, who's their key contacts. InsideView is pulling all of this data from various repositories. and pulling it directly inside of the CRM. So from one click, you can add a decision maker or add an additional contact that you might not have. You can see news and information about that organization. And it's very simple, and it's out of the box functionality that now comes with Dynamics. So with that, moving right along over to social engagement, I just kind of want to talk about that for a second. Sonia, I just wanted to pause real quick and ask if there was any questions.
And hello, there are not right now, but I'll just make a quick shout out to InsideView Data. It's quite good. We've been using it for a while and it's awesome. So love that integration.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome, perfect. Well, good. So we're going to hop into social engagement for just a second and take a look at that. Dynamics 365 out of the box has the capability to give you a lot of social listening tools and social engagement functions that aren't there for a lot of platforms right now. You can see social insights, which is social listening. It's social brand awareness, and it is social care as well as social selling. So each one of these pieces gives you greater insight and depth into how your organization, your brand, and your product how its online presence is. You can social listen to Microsoft Inspire. It's a big Microsoft conference that's held in Las Vegas every year. And having social listening set up, I can automatically watch and view how that conference is going and where I can key target specific new products or new customers. And I can key into what's trending right now and what's hot in social media. And I can go, okay, this is what we need to be marketing on because that's what's going on. That's what's hot right now. But I can also see brand reputation and social care. Maybe you have customers tweeting about your organization. Maybe you launched a new product and something broke. How many times do people just go to Twitter and start talking about your organization? How much of that can you see right now and how much can you not? Microsoft Dynamics 365 for social engagement gives you the ability to see and respond to that information. Multi-channel customer service. And then brand reputation. What's the sentiment of your brand? Is it good right now or is it bad? And what you can do to make actionable insights to change that sentiment. And then social selling through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, reaching out and finding new prospects over social media, something that's not going away. So the social selling assistant does the same thing as the relationship assistant. It's going to look through your interactions and it's going to help you to leverage social media through smart recommendations. And then engagement reporting, direct connection with Power BI to be able to see real-time social engagement KPIs, such as response, such as sentiment, such as traffic levels, author tagging. You're able to see and never miss an opportunity. This is what's important. Influencer marketing, or VIPs. So say, for example, Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, retweets one of your tweets or likes your company on a social media platform. That's pretty big. That's something to be aware of. And with these tools, it helps you to see and to track that information. Maybe it's not somebody like Satya Nadella. Maybe it's a influencer that's in your particular vertical or in your industry that's really strong, and they happen to retweet or reshare something on Facebook that is about your company. That's actionable data that you can see that you're able to act upon and further push that into the next level. Right now, it's in 124 markets and 25 countries, which is great. So regardless of where everybody's from, they have access to it right now. New data sources are being added all the time. Right now, they've added, as of this presentation, they added Instagram, Reddit, Discuss, and various news sources. In October release, they're going to be adding quite a few more. So we've kind of talked about response rates and credibility, gathering intelligence. I won't belabor that point. So right now, we're going to hop over into what Microsoft Dynamics 365 actually looks like. So this right here is what you're presented when you first log into Microsoft Dynamics. This is the unified interface. What we're looking at right here is a lead. So we have a lead, Sharon Wilson, who came from a partner. It's a warm lead. I can see all of my critical data about Sharon directly on the left-hand panel. So whether I need to make a phone call, I can click to dial directly out because of the integration with Microsoft Dynamics Teams and Microsoft Skype, as well as directly send emails, create calendar notifications. I have Versium Predict, which is giving me information beyond what I might already have, as well as my timeline. Everything about this particular customer, or this particular lead, is housed in what's called the timeline. So whether that's a phone call, an email, a task, all of that is stored right here. And we can see it's just running and running and running. And then the lead journey, we're able to see. Now this demo that Microsoft has built has a screenshot. However, the lead journey will actually show you in conjunction with Microsoft Dynamics 365 for marketing where the lead came from and give you insights based off of that information as well. But we're also able to see LinkedIn information. So I can see everything because of Microsoft's connection with LinkedIn. I'm able to have actionable insight based off of this. Sometimes it'll pre-fill all of the data for you inside of your lead. So when you come over to Dynamics Sales Navigator, it will actually try to match it. Now, because this is a sample person, it can't match a sample person. However, we see there are multiple Sharon Wilsons. So you're actually able to come in here and to match. And what that does is that's going to give you the access to see them, to save them as a lead. And what icebreakers are going to give you their recently shared information. So if they shared an article, you're going to have some way to reach out and to do a soft connection with them. Get Introduced shows any particular connections that you have with this individual so that you can go in and see, hey, me and Bob are connected to this individual. Bob, can you give me an introduction? And then related leads. If there are any particular leads related to this person, so she's a managing partner at Fourth Way Fulfillment. If there's a CEO or a CFO level person, then you have the ability to see their related leads as well. So actually, let's do this. And let's just type in here. Because Satch is such a public person, it's pretty easy to pull up information on him. So we see here, in terms of icebreakers, he's shared multiple articles over the last few weeks. Like he shared an inclusion panel on YouTube. So I've got information that I can reach out to him about. So maybe I know somebody over at JDA, and I can reach out and say, hey, Satya, great news on JDA. That's awesome. Why don't we have a further conversation about that? Again, introduction, unfortunately, I'm not popular enough to be connected to the CEO of Microsoft. But if we had some level of connection, that's where we would see somebody. But then you also have related leads, which, as I said, gives you the ability to see the executive VP over at Microsoft, CVP of Modern Life in Redmond, Washington. So it's not always people at Microsoft. Yusuf here, and I can actually open Sales Navigator and bring right into it, is he does work at Microsoft. However, in this particular instance, it will give you multiple data points beyond just that organization. So that covers what a lead looks like. And you can see stepping through the process of going from lead to opportunity is as simple as coming up here, clicking this, filling out every piece, and then moving it forward to the next stage. So, for example, we need to have a decision maker, and we need to have a purchase process and an estimated budget and timeline to move forward. Now, these can all be customized as simply as going into Power Apps and customizing it. There's no development that needs to be done. There's no customizations that have to be written for it. It's as simple as opening the form and dragging and dropping. So Microsoft has really made it simple. So let's take a look at opportunities really quick. So here's our open opportunities in the CRM. We see that we've got quite a few open opportunities right now, but what's important is the relationship health. For example, this relationship is good and it's improving. I've spent an average of 6 hours with this customer and we've engaged 15 times. So what an engagement is an appointment, a contact, a phone call, an email, some touch point with that customer that we've had. So we can see here, this is a poor relationship. Well, I've only spent 3.4 hours with them and barely had one interaction. So that's not a good thing. But let's hop into this relationship right here and take a look around. So this is what an opportunity looks like. So once you move from a lead into an opportunity, you see that the exact look and feel stays the same regardless of where you're at in the platform. And I'll show you that when we look at contacts as well. So we see here, here's the opportunity. We've gone through qualify, develop, propose, and close. Now we're ready to close the deal. And I just want to point out that each one of these are a business process. And like I said earlier, these can be simply customized, and wording and verbiage can be changed to exactly what your organization wants and needs. So you're not locked into these 4. I've got 7 on mine, and none of them say any of these things here except for close. So it all depends on what your organization wants and needs and how in-depth your sales process is. And it took me, I created it, and it took me 20 minutes to sit down and define the sales process and build the process flow. So again, very simple, very easy to use. Again, that left-hand panel being all of your core information, the center panel being your timeline. So here we have some emails. We have an untracked email from Ryan Martin about this particular opportunity, which is good. And we'll cover that a little bit in Outlook. We have an appointment, and we have a phone call. So we can see all of the touch points and contacts from various people across the platform that have been done throughout the life of this lead into the opportunity phase. And then over here, we see the relationship assistant. Right now, it's telling us the opportunity is set to close on the 25th. So what will happen if it doesn't close on the 25th? I'll get a new trigger that said opportunity close date has passed, and it'll trigger a response. It wants to know, do we need to move the date out? Is it a lost opportunity? What's the next action we need to do? We also see our relationship health. It's a good relationship, and it's improving. Our last interaction was the review of final proposal and pitch. There's no activity scheduled next. If there was, it would show there. And I can see all of my stakeholders, what my current situation is. Again, all of your critical data is right there. So along with that, when we take a look at a contact, again, we see unified platform. Everything stays the same. Along with the unified integration with Sales Navigator, we can see here Lawrence Peters. I have multiple Lawrence Peters that I can match to. I match to Lawrence Peters here. I've got his information right there. So every time I open that, I can see our connection on LinkedIn. And I can again look at icebreakers, and I can see more information. So LinkedIn Sales Navigator is deeply embedded throughout the platform, along with the company information. So I have the account matched and the contact. So I'm able to keep track of everything about this particular contact and account, unified in one area. We can also see here that the relationship assistant is active. It's saying there's no activity since July 6th. I need to send an email to this person. And then I have the timeline as well. And again, each one of these screens can be customized and simplified to your needs and your wants, as simple as dragging and dropping on the form. So we're able to see all kinds of various data. And then Versium Predict, which is another product that Microsoft has purchased and is integrating with Dynamics 365. Out of the box, it is completely no cost, but it does give you some insights as well as InsideView. So again, on some of these sample people, it's difficult to get an actual good match on it because they're not real people. So with that, let's take a look at Outlook as a CRM platform. So right now, we're inside of Outlook Online. I have an email about Graphic Design Institute's proposal on 3D printers. It's come over from George. It's to Ryan Martin, copy Jeff Hay. So I'm logged in as Jeff. Hey, Jeff, I'm representing George to review some terms and conditions. So, okay, I know immediately I need to reach out and attach this. So what I can do is come right over here, and I'm actually going to close it and reopen it just so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to reopen it, and it's going to go into Dynamics, and it's going to pull my two contacts. So I can see Ryan and George, and I'm able to actually see George Sullivan's lead information directly within Dynamics on my Outlook. I'm able to see our last activity, and I'm able to see any competitors that I'm up against. So right now it's between PMG and Carter Electronics. So I know who my direct competitor is when I deal with this. But I also want to track this email because I want it inside of the CRM. So I'm going to go George, and I can actually just search through everything. And whether that's contacts, accounts, leads, opportunities, I can search through those and I can link them directly. So there's George Sullivan. So I can actually go in, and now I track that email against George Sullivan. So now if I go to his contact or his lead information, I've got a copy of this email, which is so critical because so many times we run into not having the ability to see emails from other people. How many deals have we worked on where an email wasn't attached or we weren't CC'd on it, and now we have no clue what was said? Well, with automatic tracking and tracking emails within Dynamics, that's a thing of the past, because now I've got this email directly in there and I can access it at any time. But it also functions another way. I actually have direct access to the entire CRM within my Outlook. Let's see here. I know on these demos, sometimes they can not load correctly. So well, we're going to hold off on that. But what I will show you is they can create new activities, new records, new menu items, and even access the relationship assistant directly from within Outlook. So again, there's never going to be a need to go in and try to force them to log in the CRM if you don't have to. They can run their entire CRM throughout Outlook, which is a very handy tool.
Josh, is there any cost to this, or does this come included?
This is absolutely included. So again, out of the box functionality. Everything I've showed today is out of the box, does not cost anything extra. Now with that, I'll have one caveat. LinkedIn Sales Navigator can be extra depending on your licensing with Dynamics. Microsoft offers a license that includes LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is really handy for those that are purchasing for sales reps, because it makes it simple. You can cut down on licensing costs because it is cheaper. And then there are licenses without. So the only thing that the one caveat would be is you can buy Dynamics 365 without Sales Navigator or purchase separately. But everything else is out of the box, absolute, easy to use, easy to set up.
Okay, great.
So
great question too. We have, one more question. That does it work on Outlook desktop? Which yes, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
I would open my email and show you, but it's my email, and there's all kinds of emails in there.
Yep.
Company information, so we don't do that. But yes, it's available on the desktop, on the mobile, Outlook mobile, as well as on the desktop client. So awesome. It's absolutely accessible from anywhere. So which is really nice because I can't tell you how many times that I've been on my phone and I've been somewhere and I'm like, I need to track this email right now. I have the ability to just go and click Dynamics and actually access it directly from my Outlook on my phone and sync it.
That's a differentiator because in most CRMs it won't touch the email client. And so that's really special that you can do things right from the app and have things logged. That's great.
Absolutely. Microsoft is really focused on deep integrations between all of their platforms. So that's one of the very handy things. And then we've got just a couple minutes left. Just want to highlight what social engagement looks like. So we're able to see here a word cloud of what phrases are currently being tracked. We're able to see the volume of our social interactions, the number of posts related to what we're searching. So for example, we're looking at search topics. So my search topics could be Dynamics, MSDYN 365, Microsoft. So these are all of my phrases that I'm watching. Here's the average volume of posts that's going on regarding that particular search query. But I can also see the sentiment. It's very positive right now. Everybody's happy about Dynamics, which is good. They should be. It's amazing. But you're also able to see when it's not, which is even more critically important because you're able to then react. You can see conversations, and all of this data is real time and based off of anything that you want to search. So you can see phrases and conversations that are currently taking place, what's trending, what's on Twitter, what languages it's currently being in, and then you can see a breakdown of where it's being done. So 1,548 tweets on Twitter about these keywords that we're searching for.
Very cool.
Take a look at sentiment. I'm able to see locations. So maybe we have an outage of a data center in Europe, and I can see all of the Europe is really upset and North America is fine. So having data like that is important to have. But you're able to see your top fans. You're also able to see your most critical people. And then from there, Power BI. Power BI is a wonderful tool designed from the ground up with Dynamics 365 in mind. So when Microsoft released this 3 years ago, they built it as a BI tool, but then they quickly realized how important BI is inside of Dynamics. And with that, they decided to build dashboards and reporting that directly ties into Dynamics. So you're able to, out of the box, get reports just like this, where you can see sales performance, sales summaries, and all of these run in near real time to exactly your data. So you're able to see actual revenue, open opportunities, estimated revenue, and all of these reports are drillable and shareable. So if I want to share this with a team, or if I want to share this with online, maybe I want to share it with, maybe I have some data, obviously not your sales data, that's probably very proprietary and you wouldn't want to share it. But if you have other BI reports, you can actually create embeddable reporting to share online. I have a report that I built for a customer. They wanted to show all of their global outreach programs and how many people they were impacting by their platform. So it was a nonprofit organization that specifically dealt with water and getting people water in rural and third world countries. And they wanted a BI report that worked in real time through their IoT platform to show off how much water was actually being delivered. So things like that are just absolutely incredible and can be done through Power BI.
Great.
But you can just see the literal depth of what you get with Power BI. So, and with that, I yield my time back to Sonia for questions and comments.
Well, thanks, Josh. This is really, really good and enlightening. We do have one great question from Matt, who works with partners. So there is you had mentioned that there's a way to track leads from partners. Is there a partner type license that comes with Dynamics where they can, maybe Matt's company could give partner licenses out without having a big cost or a cost at all, or how would that work?
Absolutely. So those are what we call team member licenses, and team member licenses are great because they're just kind of read and basic write functionality to the CRM. It's giving them the ability to see data and to access what they need to access without having to have a full license. So that is a great question.
And that's a reduced rate, right? That's not free.
Yes, it's not free. I believe right now, and obviously pricing subject to Microsoft terms and could change at any moment, but as of right now, it's $8 per user.
Oh, that's not bad
again,
at all.
drastically reduced so that you can have teams access data that they need to without needing a full CRM license.
Yeah, and then Matt, a great follow-up question is, can you specifically see what deals and contacts you could, with roles and permissions, right, Josh, you could skinny it down so that you only see things that are assigned to that partner, so they're not going to see everything in the database, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And another way to do that is, and I know we don't have the time to demo it today, but it's Microsoft portals. We have a lot of customers that will create a vendor or a partner portal where they can access just the data they need to access, and then they don't even need a CRM license. They have an Azure login.
Wow. Huh. Is that like a portal that is a separate fee, or is it a portal that you'd make and attach it to the back end?
So with 5 users on Dynamics, you get a free portal. Microsoft gives you a portal with 5 users. Any other additional portals that you might want are an additional fee and storage apply. However, with 5 licenses, Microsoft does give you a portal to use for free.
Cool. Is there a lot of development around that then?
No, it's really not. Everything can be done drag and drop very simply. Let me see if I can pull one up here real quick.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Oh, NASCAR uses it.
This is a customer this is a customer that we worked on and built their portal for them. So this was simple. We had a business analyst on site do this, and it took them a couple days to do. So this is they can actually go in. You can click. There's a knowledge base around it. So this is more of a customer service type of portal, but portals can be configured from customer service to vendor to purchasing to invoicing. However you want to build the portal, Microsoft has built various different versions that all you have to do is just go in and configure. So
awesome.
And we can
that is
see
so
here.
Cool. So
you can
cool.
log in and knowledge base articles. Absolutely. And the great thing about it too is it's built on Azure. So you have a 99.5% uptime on your portals, on Dynamics in general, but you also have the security around it as well. So these are all GSA level secured, very heavy, built with security in mind. Microsoft takes security very, very seriously.
Great. Well, that looks really good. If anyone else has additional questions, please put them in the questions box. And I think this was great. I'll personally, I'll just say from a personal experience that maybe even 3-4 years ago, this platform was completely different, and they've made a lot of improvements. A lot. All right, so
Absolutely.
I don't see any additional questions. So any closing, wait. Yes, there is a recording, Brian asked. So again, Sarah will be sending out a link to this recording, and we'll reach out if any of you guys had questions. We may be reaching out just to follow up. And what is that on the bottom? Let's talk about that. That's my favorite feature that Josh uses.
Oh, yeah, let me see if I can pull it back up. So PowerPoint has a translation feature and a captioning feature that uses Azure AI and cognitive services. I use it a lot when I'm presenting at conferences. It actually gives you real-time translation and captioning for those that are hard of hearing or, in a different language. And it's actually doing it in real time. And it's pretty spot on.
It really is.
So you can see that down at the bottom. But Sonia, awesome. Do we have just a couple of minutes to go through what's next in Dynamics?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That would be great.
Awesome. So what's next in the fall release? And I know we're running short on time, so I'll keep it brief. But Microsoft is releasing updates to the following products: sales, marketing, customer service, talent, retail, finance and operations, business central, service applications, Power BI, and Power Apps. So Dynamics 365 for sales, what we looked at today, we'll be getting playbooks, which is a way to create various different sales plays and pitches based off of needs. So they've taken that recommendation from a lot of their vendors. It's something that we compete on against Salesforce all the time. So now we're getting that. We're getting LinkedIn Insights, so a deeper level of integration with LinkedIn. So they bought LinkedIn, and now they are further integrating it deeper and deeper every time. We're also getting a great integration with Microsoft Teams. I use Teams every day, and I can't tell you how awesome it is to have real-time information pushed directly from my CRM into my group channels. So I have 3 or 4 different channels set up for my sales teams, and that's how I manage them. And I can see in real time new opportunities that are coming up. Relationship assistant pushing out data saying, hey, this person needs contact, and I can see how that's being acted upon within my team. So it definitely blows slack out of the water, in my opinion. I really like using it. Who knows whom? So again, leveraging that LinkedIn connection and being able to see potential further connections and reaching out for various people that you can get into contacts. Talking points and quick actions are more on the AI side. Predictive lead scoring now out of the box. So no more needing third-party platforms to determine lead scoring. It's going to come out of the box, which is massive. relationship analytics with LinkedIn InMail. So now when you send an InMail, relationship analytics is going to be tracking that and then giving feedback off of that. And then the one that everybody is really hyped, but Microsoft is keeping hush-hush about, is Dynamics 365 AI for sales, actually automating the sales process beyond just relationship analytics and actually acting upon that on your behalf. And then call intelligence for call centers. Definitely some new features coming in there. Marketing is getting a lot of really good features. I know we haven't talked about marketing a lot today, but that's definitely an automation tool that you need to be looking at. It's Marketo meets Click Dimensions meets Adobe times 10. So you're getting account-based marketing with it in the new update, reusable content blocks, social listening for your campaigns, marketing calendars, deep LinkedIn integration, richer segmentation experience based off of that LinkedIn data. Custom analytics are now going to be delivered directly within D365 marketing, and then as well as some additional languages. And they're adding Microsoft Stream to campaigns. So you'll be able to use Microsoft Stream, which is Microsoft video platform, directly within your content. Which the difference between Stream and YouTube is you get quite a bit more user analytics tied to LinkedIn based off of Stream video. So that's very nice. So, and that wraps anything up. If anybody does have any other questions, we will definitely be here and available to answer them. And you have the recording. You can feel free to reach us on Twitter or via email, online, or phone call.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. That concludes our webinar today. We'll be, again, sending out the recording. And Josh, thank you so much for your time. This has been great. Thank you, everyone.